There is one everyday food many seniors eat without a second thought, yet cardiac surgeons warn it can quietly raise your risk of dangerous blood clots. Not in days, but silently over years. It doesn't hurt your stomach, it doesn't raise your heart rate, and it certainly doesn't shout for attention, but inside your bloodstream, it slowly changes the way your blood flows. Most older adults only discover the truth after a scare. A swollen calf, a strange chest pressure, or a sudden shortness of breath that seems to come out of nowhere. And that is exactly why today's video is so important, because the food we're discussing doesn't act like a poison. It acts like a slow whisper, shaping your blood chemistry meal after meal. By the time you finish watching, you'll understand which 5 foods silently raise clot risk, why they become more dangerous after 60, and how to keep eating safely without giving them up entirely. You'll also learn the subtle early warning signs of thickened blood, signs most seniors dismiss as just aging, even when the body is trying to speak. And most importantly, you'll discover simple adjustments that protect your circulation, keep your blood flowing cleanly, and support your heart for the decades still ahead. Food 1 will surprise you the most, because it's something people consider comforting and healthy, yet cardiac surgeons insist it becomes risky when eaten daily. Before we dive deeper, I would truly love to know where you're watching this from and how young you are today, because our community keeps growing in the most beautiful way. And here's a lighthearted question just for fun. What did you have for breakfast this morning? Your comments help us understand your habits better and create videos that support you exactly where you are in your health journey. So take a moment to share below. Then let's begin with the 5th food, the one most seniors blend into smoothies believing it protects their health. But as cardiac surgeons warn, it behaves very differently inside the bloodstream of someone over 60. Number 5, spinach smoothies. Spinach smoothies sound like the perfect health drink, especially for seniors who want more energy, stronger digestion, and better immunity. But cardiac surgeons warn that too much spinach in blended form can quietly thicken the blood over time. When spinach is eaten raw and pureed, the oxalates inside it become more concentrated, entering the bloodstream faster and in much larger quantities than when eaten cooked. For younger adults, this usually isn't a problem. But after 60, when kidney filtration slows and blood vessels stiffen, the body struggles to process these oxalates efficiently. They bind with calcium in the blood, forming tiny crystals that make the blood slightly heavier, slightly thicker, and slightly harder to push through the arteries. Most seniors never feel this happening because it doesn't cause immediate pain. But the pressure on the heart increases quietly, especially at night when circulation slows. If you drink spinach smoothies daily, the buildup can become enough to raise clot risk, particularly if you also take calcium supplements or have a history of kidney issues. The biggest danger is not spinach itself, but the frequency and the raw form. Cooked spinach behaves completely differently in the body. Cardiac surgeons aren't telling you to avoid spinach forever. They're asking you to eat it in a way your body can handle safely after 60. If you enjoy smoothies, simply rotate your greens. Choose bok choy, celery leaves, kale in moderation, or romaine instead. And if you still want spinach in your drink, limit it to 2 or 3 times a week, and always pair it with extra water to help your kidneys flush excess oxalates. A small change like switching raw spinach for lightly steamed spinach can dramatically reduce clot risk without taking away the flavor you love. Your heart will feel the difference, your blood will flow smoother, and your circulation will thank you quietly every single day. Now let's move on to food 4, the one almost no senior suspects because it's usually seen as light, gentle, and good for the stomach, yet it becomes risky when eaten daily. Number 4, oats and granola clusters. Oats are often praised as one of the healthiest breakfast foods on earth, but cardiac surgeons warn that many seniors are quietly raising their clot risk by eating them in the wrong form every single morning. When oats are processed into crunchy granola clusters, the natural fibers that slow down digestion get stripped away, leaving behind a higher glycemic load that spikes blood sugar much faster than people expect. Fast spikes trigger fast crashes, and each crash pushes the body into a stress response cycle that thickens the blood slightly to stabilize energy, a process that becomes more dangerous after 60. Most seniors never realize that the honey-coated or syrup-coated clusters they enjoy are not gentle like plain oats, but behave more like sugary snacks. Sugar and oxidized oils in granola can irritate blood vessels, causing tiny inflammations that encourage platelets to stick together more easily. Over weeks and months, this subtle stickiness increases clot formation risk, especially when combined with dehydration or long periods of sitting. The danger isn't the oats themselves, it's the processing, the additives, and the daily repetition that turn a healthy food into a circulatory burden. If you enjoy oats, switch to plain rolled oats or steel-cut oats, because their slow-digesting fibers keep blood sugar steady and circulation smooth. You can sweeten them naturally with blueberries, cinnamon, or a touch of raw honey, all of which support artery health instead of stressing it. And if you do eat granola, treat it as a topping rather than a full meal, using just a small handful instead of a full bowl. This one change alone can reduce inflammation, smooth your blood flow, and protect your heart far more than most seniors realize. Your arteries notice the difference even before you feel it, quietly thanking you with steadier energy and calmer circulation. Now let's move on to food 3. The one cardiac surgeons say almost no older adult suspects, because it looks innocent, comforting, and light, yet it can silently thicken the blood in surprising ways. Number 3, red meat, especially processed. Red meat feels familiar, comforting, and satisfying, but cardiac surgeons warn that for seniors, it becomes one of the quietest drivers of thickened blood, especially when eaten in processed forms like sausages, deli slices, or cured meats. As the body ages, it becomes more reactive to the saturated fats and chemical preservatives found in processed red meat, causing small but persistent inflammation inside the blood vessels. This inflammation doesn't cause pain, but it changes the texture of the artery walls, making them slightly stickier and more prone to catching passing platelets. When platelets encounter an irritated vessel lining, they clump together more easily, building the early layers of what could become a dangerous clot. Processed meats also raise levels of C-reactive protein, a blood marker of inflammation that is strongly linked to clot formation in adults over 60. For seniors with high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or diabetes, this effect becomes even more pronounced, tightening circulation without any obvious symptoms. Red meat is also high in heme iron, which in excess can trigger oxidative stress, a process that makes your blood thicker and more sluggish over time. Many older adults notice afternoon fatigue, leg heaviness, or chest tightness after red meat-heavy meals, not realizing these sensations often come from blood that simply isn't flowing as smoothly as it should. Swapping red meat for fish, beans, tofu, or lean poultry a few times a week can lighten the workload on your heart and help your arteries stay calm and flexible. You don't have to give up your favorite meals. Just reduce the frequency, choose fresher cuts, and avoid processed versions that strain your circulation the most. Your heart thrives on foods that keep inflammation low and blood flow clean, and even small changes here make an enormous difference as you age. When you treat red meat as an occasional comfort instead of a daily habit, your blood responds quickly with smoother flow and more stable energy. Now let's move to food 2, the one many seniors consider a harmless breakfast choice, yet cardiac surgeons warn it can thicken the blood faster than you'd ever expect. Number 2, sugary breakfast cereals. Sugary breakfast cereals may look light, colorful, and harmless, But cardiac surgeons warn that for seniors, they can quietly thicken the blood faster than almost any other morning food. When you pour a bowl of cereal and add milk, the refined grains inside it break down into sugar almost instantly, causing a rapid spike in blood glucose within minutes. Your body responds to this surge by releasing insulin, and each strong insulin wave thickens the blood slightly as it tries to stabilize that sudden jump. For younger adults, this roller coaster is easier to handle, but after 60, blood vessels become less flexible, making these spikes more dangerous and more likely to trigger clot formation. The added sugars, artificial flavors, and processed ingredients in most cereals inflame the inner lining of your arteries, a silent irritation that encourages platelets to stick together. When this happens each morning, day after day, the buildup becomes significant, especially if you pair cereal with low hydration or sit for long periods after breakfast. Many seniors feel mid-morning headaches, heavy legs, or sudden tiredness without realizing cereal is pushing their blood sugar and circulation in the wrong direction. Even cereals labeled whole grain or low fat can still contain high sugar levels that disrupt blood flow and keep your heart working harder than it should. Switching to slow-digesting breakfasts like oats, chia pudding, or eggs helps keep your blood sugar calm and your arteries relaxed. If you truly enjoy cereal, choose one with at least 4 grams of fiber and less than 5 grams of sugar per serving, a small but powerful way to protect your circulation. And always add a handful of nuts or seeds to slow digestion and prevent that dangerous sugar rush. Your heart feels the difference almost immediately, with steadier energy and smoother blood flow throughout the day. Now let's move to food 1, the daily favorite almost every senior trusts. Yet it can quietly raise clot risk more than any food on this list. Number 1, cheese and dairy fats, daily overuse. Cheese feels comforting, familiar, and satisfying, but cardiac surgeons warn that daily overuse quietly thickens the blood and raises clot risk in older adults far more than most people ever realize. As we age, the body becomes less efficient at breaking down the saturated fats found in cheese, causing those fats to circulate longer in the bloodstream. When saturated fats linger, they stiffen the artery walls and make the blood slightly thicker, forcing the heart to push harder with every beat. Cheese also contains sodium levels far higher than most seniors expect, and excess sodium causes fluid retention that increases blood pressure and slows circulation. When blood pressure rises, the tiny vessels in the legs, brain, and heart become more vulnerable, allowing small clots to form more easily. Daily cheese, especially at dinner, creates the perfect storm. Thicker blood from saturated fats, tighter arteries from sodium, and slower nighttime circulation that raises clot risk while you sleep. Many seniors notice morning headaches, ankle swelling, or heaviness in the chest without realizing cheese-heavy dinners may be the hidden cause. Processed cheeses like slices, spreads, and shredded blends are even more dangerous, containing preservatives and oxidized fats that inflame arteries. But the goal isn't to remove cheese forever. It's to enjoy it in a way your heart can manage safely after 60. If you love cheese, choose mild options like ricotta, cottage cheese, or fresh mozzarella, all of which contain less saturated fat and sodium. Pair cheese with vegetables or fruit instead of bread or processed meats to keep inflammation low and blood flow steady. Small swaps like downsizing portions, choosing fresher varieties, or saving cheese for special meals can dramatically reduce clot risk. Your heart feels lighter, your circulation smoother, and your body more energized when cheese becomes an occasional pleasure, not a daily habit. Conclusion. When you understand how these everyday foods affect your circulation, you begin to see your body with new clarity and compassion. You realize that small choices, the drink you reach for, the snack you trust, the habits you repeat, can quietly shape the strength of your heart and the smoothness of your blood flow. And the beautiful truth is that it's never too late to make better choices, no matter your age, your history, or your current health. Your body listens to every act of kindness you give it, responding with steadier energy, calmer blood pressure, and clearer circulation. Even replacing one risky habit with a safer option can transform how your heart feels throughout the day. You don't need perfection, you simply need consistency, the gentle, steady kind that builds a healthier future one meal at a time. Remember that your heart is not fragile. It is resilient, hopeful, and deeply responsive to the care you offer it. And every time you choose a heart-friendly food, you're strengthening the system that carries life to every corner of your body. If today's video opened your eyes or taught you something new, I invite you to take one small step, just one, towards smoother circulation. Share in the comments where you're watching from and how old you are, because your story may inspire someone else who needs encouragement. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe, because we talk about simple, powerful habits that help older adults stay strong, independent, and active. Your likes, comments, and shares help this message reach more seniors who deserve better health guidance. Every week, we build a community of people who refuse to give up on their well-being, no matter their age. And I hope this video becomes a gentle reminder that you still have control, you still have power, and you still have so much strength inside you. Until we meet again, may your heart stay steady, your circulation stay smooth, and your days stay full of light.